The first few days of oxygen not included are pretty daunting, so let's go through the first 5 cycles together. First, we want to give them some space. I always dig mine 4 high because that's as high they can reach, and it makes for a really good room size. Next, we want to put down our science machine, a battery to store some power, a hamster wheel to make the power, and connect it all with a wire. You'll see that a lot of people usually put the science machine next to the printing pod because the dupes work faster when they're in light, and the printing pod gives off a little bit of light. Don't be too overwhelmed about the amount of choices in the research tree. At the very beginning, you can really only do the first or second of each line. My recommendation, just go from top to bottom. You'll end up getting them all anyway. Now we want to focus on getting a couple rooms set up. Carbon dioxide sinks to the bottom, and like us, the duplicants can't really breathe carbon dioxide. I usually build some of my rooms where duplicants hang out up in the base. That way I'll never put them in a carbon sink and I don't have to worry about them not being able to breathe. So we're going to make a barracks so they have somewhere to sleep, and we also need to make some toilets so that they have somewhere to go to the bathroom so they don't make messes all over the base. I'm going to make a nice room of 6 cots, and that way we'll have extra room in case we print a couple extra duplicants. Actually, you know what? Let's not give them much more work than they need to, because they're already going to be pretty busy. Let's only make 4 cots. Alright, now in the medicine tab we have to do the sinks, and then in the plumbing tab we do the toilets. These are the first basic latrines that you're going to make. We'll end up switching it out later for some plumbing, but it'll keep our base clean for now. And again, we just watch our dupes do their thing. Oh, see, the duplicants weren't doing what I wanted them to do first and ended up doing a couple other tasks that I didn't really think were necessary. So I used the priority arrow down in the bottom right to mark the things that I wanted them to focus on with a 9. Oh, see, she peed. That's okay, we'll quickly mop that up. It's not a terribly bad thing. They'll get soggy feet from stepping in water, but polluted water does have a bonus of, you see those little bubbles that were coming up from it? They were actually letting off some polluted oxygen into the air, which isn't fantastic because it is polluted, but at least it's oxygen and they can breathe it. Now remember how I said that we were going to use these as wild food? In the bottom right hand corner, there's a little sickle option. You got to make sure that the duplicants know that they can pick this up as food. So we're just going to highlight all these plants and mark them down so the duplicants know that they can pick them up to eat. Alright, we're going to set the directional arrow on these sinks to be right so that they don't wash their hands before they pee and after, they only wash it when they're afterwards. Pay! She didn't wash her hands. And again, we just watch our dupes work. I'm going to plan out the next level of the floors, and I want to make it so that they're even with the other floors so that our base looks nice and even. You don't have to. I've seen I used to live very organically, but now I'm pretty structured. Duplicants can jump 1 square away, but they can't jump 2. Oh look, we've researched the oxygen diffuser and the jumbo battery. I'm going to expand our power section a little bit and move it. We're going to put 2 jumbo batteries down because the jumbo batteries can hold 40, but the small ones can only hold 10. So this is going to be a lot of power. The duplicant will go on the hamster wheel, fill up those batteries, and then they won't have to go on it for a really long time. Then with the oxygen diffuser, all that algae that we have been picking up, all those green squares, we're just going to make a little bit of extra oxygen since our oxalight's almost out. We're still doing fantastic on air, but you know, we'll keep it topped up. And look at them pick up all those extra wild plants. Those are fantastic since we don't have any plants actually started yet. So that'll keep our storage for our food just topped up a little bit. You don't have to assign beds or mess tables to each of the duplicants. When it is bedtime, they will assign themselves to any free bed, and that will become their bed or their mess table, but I like clicking things. Now those shine bugs might be a problem since they are shining some light in the bedroom. I'm gonna try and quarter them off into that one little section with the plants later on. We've also researched the farm tiles, so we're gonna start making a little bit of a farm. Always make sure that you pick something from the printing pod though, even if it's just the random material, or even if it's a creature that you end up killing immediately, because you'll get something else in 3 cycles. Yeah, the duplicates still aren't focused on building the things I need them to build. I'm going to make sure to put the battery stuff on a 9 and the farm tiles on a 9 so we can get all this started. Excellent, the farm tiles are done. The mealwoods are the perfect basic food at the very beginning. They can live in carbon dioxide, so that's why we put them at the bottom of the base. They only need a little bit of dirt, and they're pretty maintenance free. So we add 1 seed in there, and then you go copy settings and click and drag through all of the farm tiles, and it'll mark them all to be mealwoods, which is fantastic because if you don't have enough seeds, that's okay. It's marked down to be a mealwood, and when the duplicant finds a seed, they'll run to that farm tile and they're automatically planted. See, those last 4, we don't actually have 4 more seeds, but when the duplicant finds one, they'll go and they'll plant it for us, which makes it hands-free. Oh, see, Pei is even supplying our oxygen diffuser with a little bit of algae, and we're making some more oxygen. Devin's running on the hamster wheel, and he's going to power up those 2 batteries, and it's going to hold a lot of power for a while. We're still digging out that extra tile. Pei is running around supplying and moving things. We have some researching going on, and we're getting towards the end of cycle 4. This is fantastic. It's their scheduled downtime, so they're all going to the bathroom. So now I'm going to make a mess hall. Since we researched the mess table, we'll get a bonus from this room as well, which will increase the happiness of each of the dupes. I don't actually have a duplicant that'll get through that hard tiles right there, so I'm going to make sure that put the beginning on a 9 so that they go through the front room, and whenever I get a skill on that duplicant, then he'll go through and he'll dig all that stuff out. Rooms don't have to be any specific shape, they just have a minimum and maximum amount of tiles that they can be. Therefore, this room is going to be the mess hall, and then we'll have a latrine and a barracks, and they'll get a couple extra bonus morale points from it, and we'll keep them all nice and happy. Oh, look! A mess hall, a latrine, and a barracks. Perfect. And we're getting to the end of cycle 5. We're still doing some research, we're still extending our base, we're making some oxygen, and we have our power topped up. I tend not to clean up my base at the very beginning because it means that the materials are right on hand for the dupes, and they don't have to run back and forth to storage bin, cleaning everything up, plus running back and going to get it. So we'll clean all this up later, and they can focus on more important matters than cleaning. And there we go. We should be set up for the next decade or so. I'm going to quickly get them to go up here so we can mark this wild food also as something they can eat. We're going to put down the supercomputer so that we can start researching the second level of all of the science trees and apply the skill for our researcher so that he can actually use the supercomputer. And that's it. We're at the end of cycle 5. We got our 3 rooms set up. We have our farms for food. We have a little bit of oxygen generation. And now we just keep researching so we can expand our base and start making some fun stuff.